Welcome to That's Good Broncos. Yeah, we're doing Broncos again, guys. I'm Brandon Perna, and today I'm talking about Aqib Talib getting moved to the block. No, not the cell block. No, not Jenny from the block. The trading block. The NFL's butcher block, where players are treated like pieces of meat. Vance Joseph also coached a great loss in the Senior Bowl, and Von Miller won Pro Bowl MVP, earning AFC players $60,000. Or as many of us refer to it, a respectable yearly fucking salary. That's good, Broncos. This episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. There's a link in the description. Use my promo code ThatsGood, and SeatGeek will give you $20 off your first ticket purchase with their app. Download the SeatGeek app and then go in. When you make your purchase, whether you're going to the Super Bowl, a comedy show, a concert, any place you can buy fucking tickets to, you can get on SeatGeek. Enter my promo code, that's good, and they're gonna give you a $20 discount. It's like, if you don't take advantage of the discount I'm trying to give you, blame yourself when you go into horrendous debt. This weekend, I learned exactly how insane Broncos fans are without a quarterback. Vance Joseph coached a riveting 45-16 loss in the meaningless Senior Bowl. As is par for Vance Joseph this year, he received a shellacking from Broncos fans for losing the meaningless game. But Von Miller received praise like he was a natural erection on a 90-year-old man for winning a meaningless game. Is this what it's come down to for Broncos fans? We need wins in games that literally have no ramifications to the Broncos' success this year to keep our hopes alive. Is that where we're at? I mean, look at it this way. Von Miller's Pro Bowl MVP performance is less valuable to the Broncos organization than the week of time the Broncos coaches got learning about some of the most sought-after players in this upcoming draft. It was a good week of practice here for Vance Joseph. The low-hanging fruit of Vance criticism is actually more meaningful than the performance in the game at the Senior Bowl. The good week of practice, more valuable than the game. And in fact, the Broncos telling Baker Mayfield to play like shit may have been the smartest thing they've ever done. Yeah, they told him to suck once the game started. Smart move, Broncos. Smart move. Now, moving on to Aqib Talib. There are current rumors, or reports, or facts, hard to tell anymore, saying the Broncos are expected to put Aqib Talib on the trading block, which literally means they may or may not try to trade Talib, and if they can't, they may or may not cut him to free up salary cap space. This is an interesting scenario because trading or releasing Aqib Talib makes a lot of financial sense for the Broncos, especially if they intend to pursue a high-priced free agent quarterback like Kirk or DeMarcus Cousins. Here's the only problem. The Denver defense will be better with Talib on the roster in 2018, and finding a new great corner to replace him is a huge gamble. NFL corners do not grow on trees the way running backs do. Yeah, I said it, Terrell Davis. I said it. Yes, Talib is 31 years old, but he is one of the smartest and best players on the Broncos defense. And he hasn't really shown any signs of slowing down. Like TJ Ward, many are saying it's better to get rid of him 1 year too early than 1 year too late. Just like my parents said they would rather me move out of the house 1 year too early than continue to live with them until I was 30. Guess which one happened. Last season, according to Pro Football Focus, was Aqib Talib's second best of his career. He had an 86.2 rating. The year before, in 2016, was technically his best season, and he had a 90.6 rating. Which, if that rating were to carry over into this last season in 2017, that would have tied him for fourth best corner in the league with Patrick Robinson. What that means is either Pro Football Focus's rating system is flawed, or the play of NFL corners in 2017 was simply off the charts. I just said corners don't grow on trees, but the last two drafts have produced some of the best performing corners in the NFL. The Bills rookie, Tre'Davious White, the Jaguars second-year corner, Jalen Ramsey, the Saints rookie, Marshawn Lattimore, all finished in the top 5 of cornerback rankings. Being an NFL corner is a young man's game, and Talib just finished his 10th season, so I get why, based on historical evidence, the Broncos would consider getting rid of Aqib Talib. The way TJ Ward's season panned out due to injuries in Tampa Bay, his release, as much as I hated it, seems like the right move in hindsight. However, yes, you'd think I'd learn to put my loyalty to Broncos players aside, but I think they should keep Aqib Talib. I would personally try and free up some cap space by signing him to a new, 4-year deal. Aqib Talib still has 2 years left on his current contract with the Broncos, but we knew years 5 and 6 of that deal were meaningless. So by offering him a new, say, 4-year deal would really be a 2-year deal, and maybe one day in the NFL a contract will actually mean something. My point is, I think Aqib Talib still has a lot of gas left in the tank, and that the Broncos could spread his money around if he were willing to deal. The biggest issue for Talib is that his last name isn't Woodson. Charles Woodson, Rod Woodson. Both played in the NFL for 17 seasons. Both started as corners, were dominant, and eventually moved to the safety position and played very well there too. If Aqib's last name was Woodson, Aqib Woodson, signing him for 7 more seasons today would be a fucking no-brainer. I mention the Woodsons because I believe Talib can probably do what both of those guys have done. At age 31, he's still playing great football at his position. He's one of the most intelligent players on the field. And like both Woodsons, who were 6 foot, 6'1", he's built to be converted to safety at some point if he so desires. In the NFL, you can't go wrong with having too many corners on the field. If the Broncos get rid of Talib, they lose a huge advantage in their secondary because with Harris, Roby, and Talib, they have 3 starting caliber corners on the field, which you fucking need now. Without Talib, they have 2. And we know right now with Brendan Langley and Marcus Rios, one of those guys has to make a huge leap to be that 3rd starting caliber player out there, unless Denver drafts the next Jalen Ramsey. The Broncos could be in jeopardy of losing Bradley Roby in 2019, as he will be an unrestricted free agent at that point. His salary jumped from $2.2 million to $8.5 million for 2018, and that is a big reason Talib may be deemed as expendable. You know why they are called free agents, right? It's because that's free fucking money for their agents. Roby, if he plays like he did in 2017, should for no reason sign a deal with the Broncos this year. If he hits the free agent market in 2019, he will be the #1 corner available because of his skill and age, which means the Broncos may be looking at a 2019 season without Talib and Roby. Now the rumor is the Broncos want to use this season to try and sign Roby. My point is, I don't know what incentive he has to sign with the Broncos this season when it's apparent that he will be the hottest corner on the market come 2019. Now, if I were running the Broncos, which I'm clearly qualified to do, I would have started contract extension talks with Talib and then let that info leak. That way, other teams would be more interested in trading for him if they thought I wanted to keep him, but would hear trade proposals. The current info out there is the Broncos are trying to trade Talib, but will cut him if they can't find a trading partner. So why on earth would any team trade for Talib and his $12 million salary in 2018 if they think they can grab him in free agency after the Broncos fucking cut him? Well, the only answer to that is another NFL GM or head coach needs to love Talib. And their organization has to have the money to get him now so they don't have to compete on the open market. The 2 teams that could trade for Talib are the 49ers, who currently have $119 million in cap space and a need for a great player in their secondary. The Green Bay Packers name have been thrown out there. They don't really have the cap, but they do have the need. Some have even suggested an Alex Smith for a Aqib Talib trade, or the sleeper team, in my opinion, the Oakland Raiders. Now, I doubt Elway would make a trade there, but John Gruden did draft Aqib Talib, and the Raiders secondary should have been called a 4th dairy because they were fucking terrible. And yes, you heard me right, the 49ers will have $119 million in cap space, which means they could pay Jimmy Garoppolo $30 million a year and still have $90 million in cap space, currently about 3 times the amount the Broncos have. Again, I think many organizations are very interested in Aqib Talib, but how many of them as a legitimate trade partner is the major question here. The fact that many organizations are interested in Talib is a sign that you should probably keep the guy. But if this has to happen to sign, say, Kirk Cousins or a Pat McAfee, I can live with that. Although I'd rather see them trade or cut Emmanuel Sanders. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Broncos. Make sure you subscribe here on YouTube, share these videos on Facebook. I'm on Twitter at Brandon Perna. It's gonna be interesting to see what starts to happen after we get past the Super Bowl and the Broncos really go full off-season mode. Shit, this team might look a lot different.